takes further consideration of the anterior-posterior membrane, but this time we're going to move the membrane cephalad. And we do this using the parietal lift with traction. This is a two-step technique. The first part of the parietal lift, we use just medial compression, and we allow the parietals to come out from between the temporal squami spontaneously due to fluid pressure changes inside. Then we allow it to relax, and this seems to allow a good fluid exchange in the head. Then the next piece is we're going to use traction on the membranes themselves, and this is a good time for you to begin learning what it's like to project down the dural tube and sense where it goes. I will describe that to you as it occurs for me, and I think you'll begin to understand more what I mean. Now, one mistake I see quite often with parietal lift is the thumbs are on top of the head. The thumbs should not be touching the top of the head, because if you want the parietal bones to come toward you, why in the world would you prevent that from happening by putting your thumbs on top of their head? So let's be sure that we get our fingers above the temporoparietal suture and posterior to the coronal suture, which is in the anterior part right about here. So we'll go above the temporoparietal suture, posterior to the coronal. I cross my thumbs on the top, and I begin to put a little medial compression on both parietal bones and wait for the parietal bones to come toward me. They respond beautifully. She's moving medially with her parietals. She hasn't started the cephalad release yet. Here it comes. The left parietal is coming towards me. The right one is maintaining. There's a little sutural restriction on the right. I'll follow this, and the whole parietal complex is shifting over towards her right. You follow it. The only force you're putting in is the medial compression on the lateral aspects of the parietals. Now it's swinging back over to the left. This is her way of self-correcting. She knows a lot more about how to fix herself than I do, so I'm here to help her, not to decide what needs to be done. Now, both parietals are beginning to come toward me, and they're doing a little. I can still feel a restriction in the right temporoparietal suture, so I'll maintain my medial compression. I would like that to come apart by itself. If indeed it gets too resistant, I can use a V-spread across here. And I think I'll do that just for demonstration purposes. To do a V-spread on this suture, I'm going to put one finger on the temporal, one finger on the parietal. I'm going to use my other fingers from across, and I'm going to direct energy directly between my two fingers into the suture and get the suture to release. In doing a V-spread, the first thing you notice is you get the pulsation, and then the suture releases, and here it comes. I can feel it because the parietal is now coming toward me very well.